Hi, Rose of Sharon. Oh my gosh, she's excited. She loves Dawn Robinson. Well, first of all, welcome
Hi,
everyone to the
Rose.
Women Are Worthy Network show. We are so excited because we have the queen, Dawn Robinson from En Vogue. We were
Thank
talking
you.
formerly of En Vogue.
Formally,
Now,
yes.
yes. Now, Dawn, I'm going to keep it real with you. Let me read some of the comments. D. Angel said, mind you, just saw this blast and shared on Facebook just now. Thank you. Rose of
Wow.
Sharon said, oh my gosh, excited. Love you, Dawn Robinson. No,
Love
Rose, you
you
can't
too,
love her more
Rose.
than me. No, 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 no. You can't love her more than me. Okay. But
Oh
I'm
my
going to share
God.
her. Now,
Thank you, Jackie.
let me go back and say some things. And I feel like ripping off my eyelashes right now because it's going to be a tear fest and it's going to be tears of
Wow.
joy. Okay, Dawn,
Oh
because
gosh.
when En Vogue first came out, you
Yes.
were the one that I gravitated to. It was you and Maxine, and then I
Right.
came over to you, right?
Wow.
Because there's
Yes.
something about you, Dawn. It was, you just had this chutzpah, as Jewish people would call it. You
Chutzpah.
had,
Yes. I
yes,
love
you had
chutzpah.
this chutzpah. And I want to know if you can go back and talk to us and tell us like where you're from, because I don't want to fan out right now. I want you to talk. Where are you from, baby
You're
girl?
so cute, Jackie. I'm from New London, Connecticut. That's where I was born and raised to about 14 years old. And my dad lived in New York. My parents were separated when I was 4 years old. So my dad was 2 hours away. So we would see him. My sister and I would see him every Christmas, every sometimes even on our birthday. He would come out and surprise us. He was very active in our lives. So it wasn't like our father was never there. But we would see him and go visit like for Christmas, like I said. And sometimes after school was out in the summer, we would spend the summers with him. So he decided he wanted to move to California. He moved to Los Angeles, and my mom and him were talking. And she said, well, I want to move to California too because I want the girls to still be close to you, but I don't want to move to LA because I don't know anyone there.
Right.
I do not want to stay with you and the girls staying with you. So my cousin Bernice had moved to Oakland, California, which was it's about a 5 or 6 hour drive, depending on, I drive fast. I get there in 4.5 hours, but it's about a 5 hour drive to LA. So we were close enough to my dad, but far enough away that he wasn't all in my mom's business. Um, and he didn't feel like she was over his shoulder. You know what I mean? They just kind of made that agreement with each other. And then from there, that's when I got in the audition for En Vogue. So I don't want to go too far ahead, but
Right,
that's where I
right.
grew up at. So I
Well, I
was
have to read some of the comments because Dee said something. I think it was Dee who said, yeah, Dee said, and I agree with her.
I'm
We
still
all
here. I'm listening. So I'm doing something, but I'm listening. Go
no
ahead.
problem. Dee said we gravitated towards Dawn because she had the funk. She just
Oh
had
my God.
you did, you did. Can you please sit your behind back down because we want
I
to
am
see your
sorry.
face? No, but you did have the, you had that thing about you. You had that, I almost thought you were the lead person because of, you just had that
Wow.
leadership qualities in there. Now,
Yes. Thank
now that
you.
we know you were from Connecticut, you went there. I want to say something to you, and I said it before we started the show. Damn,
Yes.
do you age? Did you find like the youth serum?
Jackie.
Little sister.
There's serums. I was telling you about the serums. You can go to Marshall's and get all kinds of like vitamin C. There's one that has let's see. There's the one that I have is hydroquin or something like that, hydroxyquin or something like that in it, and vitamin C. But none of those serums will work if you're not telling yourself that you're young. And it's really the conversation that we have with each other. There's a quiet conversation in our mind's eye, not outright with our mouths, but in our mind's eye. The thing that we talk about all the time, as soon as you wake up in the morning, you're brushing your teeth, you're going over your whole face, and you're like, oh my God, I'm getting wrinkled, I'm doing. We start taking ourselves apart mentally. And when we see someone else or another woman, most times we're just like, anytime we get a comment or they say something nice about us, they're like, oh no, this old thing, or um, oh my gosh, I'm getting so old, but thank you so much for saying that I look good. It's like we never take a compliment. And the conversations that we have with ourselves all day long, these quiet conversations in our head are about, I'm getting older, I'm not this, I don't look as good, I wish I was 24 again, or I wish I was 21. All of these things we don't accept where we're at. And then we also believe with society, because they're putting out magazines all the time. And the magazines,
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking at magazines since I was a kid, and my mom would say all the time, you take those magazines and you cut out the pictures after I spent all this money on the magazines, and then you put them on the wall. And now I'm using all those skills that I used in the magazines, putting them on the wall, is looking at fashion. So I understand it now. It's kind of like we didn't know it was going to be used for that. But I remember all the commercials in the magazines, and they still have them. Youth serum this. Go to doctor this and get, injections, and get, what do you call it when you get, what are the injections called? Or Invisalign. No,
Right.
Invisalign are the teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Restylane. I think it's called Restylane. It's like they tell us all the time how we're getting old. They don't say that to men as much. But to women, they definitely target the market. And when you see commercials, even on TV, they're talking about aging, anti-aging this, anti-aging that. And so I just tell myself, I'm like, I am so young. I'm so beautiful. I feel so good. My body feels amazing. This is the only vessel we have. And there are people that wish they could be here that died. And I'm like, people that we go to school with. So my best friend and I always talk about a lot of the people that we went to school with that are dead now. They didn't make it to 50. They didn't make it to 55. We both turned 55 at the same time. And I'm just like, so I've had a conversation with myself for a while about how I look. And I don't want to be 21 again, but I wish I was 21 with the wisdom that I have now, but that doesn't work that way. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, it's like, I thought you were talking and I couldn't hear you. Yeah. So the conversations that I have with myself now are, okay, I'm here in this place. I am 55 years old, but if
Wait.
Yeah.
You're not going to run past that. You're not going to run past that.
I said it twice. That's my
I
second
know,
time
and
saying it.
you are, see, and that's what I'm talking about. We look at the numbers and we think you're supposed to look a certain way.
Exactly.
Damn, you look good. Damn.
Wow, Jackie, thank you so much. Thank you. But I do. I keep saying, first of all, Prince was all, when he was alive, of course, was all about age is just a number. He didn't look at that stuff at all. He never let himself say, I want to put 50 candles on a cake. Prince, Madonna, and Michael Jackson would turn the same age at the same time. So when each one of them would turn 30, they would all three turn 30 or 40 or 50. And so when Prince turned 50, he's like, there's no number. This is what while we're on the subject. The planet is billions of years old. That's old. And the planet is still here. And the planet is still growing. And you see trees come up all the time, and grass and flowers and babies born. So the planet isn't saying, oh, I'm so old, I can't do this anymore. No, the planet still exists. So when you put it in perspective of age, it's like, thank God we're still here. We made it past the age that a lot of our friends died in high school or after high school. Yeah. And it's all about how you feel and what you feed your body. I'm not good with that yet because I still eat junk food. I still eat a lot of crap that I should not eat, but I feel good. And now I'm starting a new resurgence in my career with all these interviews. It's like, oh my God, like, Father, thank you that I'm still here and I'm able to
Your volume? I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you now.
I can't see you though.
You can't see. We can see you though. We can see you. Let me read some of the comments, okay? So D says that was the golden 3. Rose said, hello, everyone. Loves to everyone on this feed. Latrina said, Miss George says, what a beautiful soul. D said she looks good. When you put it in perspective of this planet, the universe is God's blessing. One of the reasons I'm attracted to you, and I have no problem saying that, because I feel like talking to you, it's like a sister girl. It's like, nope, this is not our first time speaking. It's like it's like we're kindred spirits. And I love that about you because you've always had that free bird. Like, you were free when you were with En Vogue, when you were Lucy Pearl. You marched to your own. You were the drummer and you marched to your own beat. I always felt that you were one of those like, look, don't mess with me. Okay. Don't mess with me. I'm not one to be messed with.
Well, so don't mess with the group. I was very much like the feisty little sister that wouldn't shut up. I'm not going away. And no, we need to be paid more money because we did. So I'm not going to go forward. But yeah, it was always that. And even when I was 16, I was in a contract with this guy named Daryl Clifton, and you know, back then there were no books to read or anything about the music business. There was no one that I could ask a question. And I got a contract. He gave me a contract, and I signed it. And then I was looking at the contract one day, and I didn't really read it. I was 16 years old, and I went to my mom and I said, "Mom," now this was after being with him and recording a bunch of songs, and I said, "Ma, I don't like this contract." And she's like, "Well, didn't you read it at first?" I said, "No." And she said, "Well, call him up." So she said, "No, go through it and underline everything you don't like." And so I did. And then I was reading it to her. I was standing in her bedroom door. I can still see myself now. And I'm reading everything on a piece of paper and telling her what I don't like. And she said, I said, "So can you tell Daryl, can you call him and tell him?" She said, "You just read me everything that you don't like about that contract. You call him yourself and you tell him what you don't like. You don't have to stay in that contract if you're not happy. But you don't need me to tell him. You need to do that on your own." And I was, "What? I can't do it." And so my best friend sat with me, but I've been feisty all my life. You know what I mean? With respect, I would still tell my mom what I didn't like, and with respect, because I'm not going to disrespect my mom, and I don't talk back, and no, I'm not a white girl. Because white girls can get away with that. My friends would be like, "Fuck that, Mom." And, "Damn, and fuck, Mom, I hate you." I'm like, whoa. You're not going to live through this. You're going to die tonight. Your mom's going to kill. Because if that was a black mother, I would have been 6 feet under. Okay, so, but I was with respect. I could tell my mom how I felt. My best friend always admired our relationship because of that.
Right.
So my mom gave us, you know, be respectful, but okay, how do you feel? All right, well, I don't agree with you, and you're still on punishment, but I hear you.
What are you doing? Like, who are you listening to now? What sounds do you like, female and men? Who are you listening to right now?
Oh, Jackie, I don't know any of the new artists too much, but I do. So I like Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
I like her. I like SZA. I love her. I think her is a great artist. I think she's phenomenal. And there are a few men as well. I keep watching the Tiny Desk, and I forget to write their names down, but there's some phenomenal new artists out. And they are independent, and I love them. But I still go back to the old school. I go back to Rufus Shaka Khan. I go back to Stephanie Mills. I go back to Kenny Loggins. I go back to Stevie Wonder, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Crosby, Stills, and Nash. I can't get away from that music.
You know, I'm with you on that because I now have Pandora, and I know there's great music. No, I'm not going to say that. They're good music now, and like her, I love her. I love her music. I still gravitate towards the old songs. You know, like for example, you mentioned Billy. You know, for me, I like the '70s. I like Journey. You know, I like songs. You know, I love good music. So DT wants to know. DT asked the question: who are your 2 to 3 all-time favorite female vocalists?
Ooh, DT. Hi, DT. Okay, so all-time favorite. First of all, Shaka Khan. She's number one. Yes. I think she's for most Black female artists.
Yeah.
And then I love Jasmine Sullivan is the business. But I love Legacy too. So I'm going to throw 4 in there. I'm going to say Minnie Riperton from back in the day.
Yes.
So Minnie Riperton, oh my God. But then there's Denise Williams, you know.
Someone just said Stephanie Mills.
Yeah, I said Stephanie Mills a little while ago. Yeah. Yeah. So I can't help it. They're just so great. And then out of the girl groups, oh my gosh, I would say my all-time favorite top 3 are 3 Degrees, When Will I See You Again? You know, there's just some great songs from them. Of course, the Supremes and Sister Sledge, probably.
Yes, I'm trying to get a hold of it. I'm supposed to be interviewing one of the sisters, and I'm waiting for that to come true.
Oh, good, yeah.
Because that's what we need. We need good music. So, you know, I'm listening to all this stuff, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the music now, but I don't need you shaking and twerking, and I got to hear you're getting money. That's great. If that's what you want to do, because I'm not disrespecting that. But I want to hear music where it was music. You can hear the
Yes.
melodies. You can hear. Okay, let me give you a fun story. Now, I'm going to tell y'all a story, and I don't want y'all to judge me, okay? I'm emotional about my itch, okay? I'm very emotional right now. So I never liked going out after work with my colleagues, right?
Yes.
So my boss said one day, you know what, we're gonna go have fun. We're gonna go karaokeing. And I'm like, karaokeing? And they're like, yeah, we're gonna go karaokeing. And what you're gonna do is you guys gonna come up with a girls group, because it was a guy and it was like 15 of us. So you're gonna have it's gonna be a girls group, and you guys are gonna go up and you're gonna sing. So look, I'm a band leader. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna do En Vogue. Okay, I'm saying this again. I do not want y'all to judge me for what I'm about to say. So I get up and I'm singing.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn, I got booed. I got booed.
No, Jackie.
It was an American Idol don't. Because I'm a legend in my mind. I think I can sing like you, okay?
But they didn't have to boo you. That's like,
Dawn,
come on now. Everybody's up there doing karaoke. Ain't nobody up there Shaka Khan.
No, Dawn. If you hear me, you would hear me too. You would clap, and then you would say, "Okay, it was an American Idol don't." They would tell me.
So wait a minute. So Jackie, this was actually it was a what do you call it show? Oh my gosh! And the Sandman comes out.
Yep, it was similar to like Dave and Buster's. I'll name, and then my boss told me that they asked him to tell me not to come back and sing. Okay.
Oh no! Oh my God!
I was showing out. My clothes was like on deck. My makeup was on deck.
Looking good, exactly.
And I'm pushing them in the back, like I was, it was like, you have Gladys Knight and the Pips. So I'm like, I'm Dawn, and En Vogue, and I'm pushing the back and I'm singing, I'm like,
they let you have it. They were like, no, ma'am, no, not
when
tonight.
I saw the eyes, and I thought the eyes meant that, wow, she can sing. And I was like, what's going on here? Then all of a sudden the music stopped. Why they stopping the music?
Oh my God.
It was humiliating, but it's fun.
You poor baby. I hope you had fun though.
No, they booed me and told me that's
Oh, I know it. To hell with those people. What do they know?
Yeah, what do they know? So I just getting jealous. So then when I started seeing American Idol doing those little outtakes of people who think they can sing and they can't,
I haven't seen that.
Oh
so
my
that's
God.
why I was saying, what's the show in New York?
The Apollo?
Apollo. Yeah. So the little Sandman comes out with the king and takes you off stage. That's what.
No, it was worse. The music stopped. And I'm like,
oh my God.
So the music stopped. I actually heard my voice, but I didn't think it was my voice. I thought it was my background's voice. I thought it was Cindy's voice because I told everyone who they were. So I thought it was Cindy's voice.
Oh my God. Wow. Wow.
It was my voice.
No, so Jackie, it was you. It was you, Jackie.
Yeah. So I have to realize I can't be pretty and beautiful and do everything. And
you can be beautiful, but you may not have the talent, the singing talent. That's all. That's all.
So that was funny. Oh my God. So now for me, I don't go to karaoke. I don't want to see it because it triggers me. It triggers.
Yeah, you want to get up. You want to get up again and sing that
song. So I'm not allowed to do that. So I just thought I'd share that story with you where
that's a good one. That's hilarious. That's funny as heck. I love it. Wow.
So now I want to ask this question because I created this platform for women who, we can motivate souls and just have fun with each other and talk about what we're doing. You've been with a group, you've been solo. Why is it important that women support each other?
I've been in a grad group too. So with two guys,
right?
Yeah.
It's
important for people in general. We separate each other. You're a girl, I'm a guy, you're a politician, you're a Democrat, I'm a Republican. It's all these separate things, but I understand as women why the need for support is necessary. You know what I mean? I get that. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, unfortunately, we have this jealousy or this crap in a bucket mentality of just, Black people as a whole, men and women. And in my case, that was it with my groups, both groups. I think it's important for women to support each other because we still have a long way to go. We became eligible to vote, and it even took a long time for Black women. Even after women had the right to vote, it took Black women, I think, another 5 years before we actually could. So we still weren't even seen as equal at that time. But it's very important because we don't have that support a lot of times. We don't have that. We have that glass ceiling, and we only go so far. And it's like with men. They still don't want to see us win. There's a lot of men that still have that same. So I try not to put myself in a box, in a category where I even need people, men or women. I feel like at this point, especially, the internet is it's good and bad. There's really good stuff on there, and there's bad stuff on there too. And especially when kids get a hold of the internet, there's predators, that are out there. But other than that, besides that, if we can get rid of the predators, there's a wealth of information. And today you don't need people. I don't need the major labels to support me to do a record anymore. I have a direct line to the fans myself with my website, dawnrobinson.com. I'm building that now with social media. It's like once you get into a position, then you look for the proper women that you want to be around that are actually going to be supportive and not jealous. There's this jealousy that happens that I don't understand that because it destroys everything. Jealousy is silly. It's fear. And behind fear is always like this whole, everything crumbles when there's fear. So it's important to support each other. But if you don't have women around you yet, you just wait for the right team to come. That's what I'm doing. Actually, I literally had a conversation yesterday with my attorneys for the first time. I got some attorney, and I say attorneys because I reached out to one Black female attorney, and she lives in Los Angeles, but she said, I've only been doing this entertainment thing for about 3 years. I don't feel like someone in your caliber. I think you need someone who's got a little more tenure on their in their background. And I want someone to help me with this because you're iconic. And I'm saying this in her words, not mine. But she just felt like I've been doing this for such a long time. She didn't want to destroy anything. So she wanted to get a team of people around her. And she did. So yesterday I had a conversation with 2 Black female attorneys. One that had more experience in the business, been doing this a long time. And she also understands, actually, she said she doesn't do litigation. But I'm hoping that I don't have any kind of litigation, that I have no lawsuits, and I'm good, and everything is great, because I don't like litigation. It's stupid. If you can't work it out, like, let's talk. This is why things broke down. This is what the communication was. This is why we got to get it back together, if possible. If not, we go on about our way, and everything's good. So, yeah, I have it now. I'm building my team. I feel so, so good.
Well, we're sending white light your way. We're sending positive things because, Dawn, you're a talent that cannot go away. We need your voice.
Wow.
Because you kind of teased me, and I'm in my feelings with you because after you left En Vogue, then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna forgive you. Then when you got into Lucy Pearl, baby, I was like, yes. And then when you left, I'm like, yo, look. It's almost like, I went back into rehab because of you. You know what I'm saying? You can be doing this to me. You can do this to us, your people. So with that said, what I want to ask you is the climate for someone who wants to join, someone who wants to be in the music business, a new person who wants to be in the music business now.
Just to clear up that whole En Vogue Lucy Pearl thing, and I'll get back to your question in a minute. It wasn't my doing to leave those groups. I didn't want to leave at all. I was so scared to be outside of En Vogue. That was my baby too. I helped build that group. Oh my, those are my sisters supposedly. We had there's certain times in your life when it's just like you have these milestones. You know what I mean? One is when you get out of high school and you go to college, or even when you go to high school. Like, that's like, oh my God, I'm in high school now. Like, I think I know all that. And then when you go to college, and then when you buy a home, or when you get married, and when you have children, or when you start your career. And that was the start of my huge career. Like, this, on a global scale. I'm not just doing local. Like I started out by singing in local bands in my hometown or in Oakland, California. And I was doing little, work here and there in the studio with people, recording stuff, just kind of getting my chops together. But I didn't know anything about the music business. So that was my introduction into the world of music, the business of music with Cindy, Terry, and Maxine. I helped build that with them, and now I'm outside of it. I felt like you find out your boyfriend or your husband cheated on you, that feeling, that gut, like, oh, I've been there. You can't catch your breath. You're just like, oh my God, my world is falling apart. So that was huge for me. And then it was the same thing with Lucy Pearl. The jealousy was there. But Lucy Pearl was different because it was a one-off from the beginning. It was only supposed to be one album. That's what we agreed on from the beginning. So that's why when it was over, it was supposed to be over. And we could have kept going, but Raphael was so jealous of me and so mean and not wanting to talk about what was falling apart or what his thoughts were. He would just say it in different interviews. So we would be doing an interview with someone. He would just break out and say, excuse me, like, don't you know that Ali and I have done stuff in our careers too? Like, what the fuck? Don't you see us here? Whoa! Okay, wait. Whoa. Like, low. Yeah. And so that kind of thing was really like ugly. And I started to see it crumble. I was like, we're done. We're done before we even get started. We could have gone on to do another album, but because of his jealousy and silliness, and because I lost my house with them, it was hard to go forward. It was really, it was really difficult. So what I would tell a new artist today, to answer your question, I would tell you guys, new artists that are listening, if you're solo, you have nobody to talk to except the people around you, your team. They have to be very close to you, and you have to bring up all the things that you don't like. So for instance, if you're being offered a record deal, make sure you talk to your attorney and go over your contract yourself. But then ask your attorney, what does all this mean? And let them, I don't care how many days it takes you to understand what you're reading. Make sure that you understand that you know without a doubt what it is that you're getting ready to sign. And if you're not happy, make sure that your attorney puts in the things that you're not happy with, takes those out, has them take them out. No, we don't want that, but we want this. No, we don't want that, but we want this. Okay, we're okay with that. It's a give and take. And with us, it was 100% take from the label. And we didn't know, even when we asked our attorney what those answers were, he explained everything. We were still confused. But we didn't have the luxury of time, and we didn't have the luxury of money to pay him for more time. We only had a few hours with him that day, and that was it. He was getting up to, okay, gotta go, y'all, when we were done. He was like we only paid for a certain amount of time because that's all we had, money-wise. Right. So I would tell a new artist to make sure, if you're a group, talk to each other. It's like literally being in a relationship. You have to talk to your significant other, or else things fall apart, because assumptions get made. Somebody gets angry because they think somebody's saying something. Assumptions get made, like I said, and it just starts to break apart from there. And because that thing wasn't talked about, that thing just gets bigger. It's that elephant in the room, and you're like, before you know it, oh my God. It's like huge. And that is what happened with En Vogue. It was just so
And that's why it's important,
sad.
Dawn, it's important that when you're in a group that you remain really close, because, and I'm saying that because then you have people whispering in your ear, maybe you need to do this, maybe, and then it falls apart. I want to start reading more of the comments. Dee said, Dawn, you were blessed to be a star. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Not your fault everyone gravitated towards you, all in capitals, and not in capitals them. Terry, Cindy, Raphael. And also,
thank you so much, Dee.
And Dee says, yeah, you want to be prepared for litigation, Dawn. En Vogue 3.0 ain't got no stimulus check. And when you start collecting coins, they're gonna come after yours.
For what? What do they mean by that?
I guess what she means is when you start being more, because you're successful. And
I understood what she meant, but how there's no way the En Vogue can come for my coins at all. If that was the case, I would have went for their coins years ago.
Right.
Because they kicked me out of the group. I should have sued them, and I actually did have the right to do that because it was wrongful termination. You guys are pushing me out of the group because I'm speaking my mind to the label. I'm saying things that matter. I'm saying things that they don't like. So the label was like, let's get rid of her because she is a troublemaker. She's a bitch. She's a problem. She's a whistleblower. So that's why the label was like, we got to get rid of her. But the girls stood behind the label instead of saying, wait a minute. Okay, it has been 8 years. Dawn is absolutely right. We're only making 2 pennies a record after all this success and after all these millions of records being sold. And we are making 2 pennies a record. Dawn is absolutely right. And we're not kicking her out. In fact, we're going to go with Dawn. We're going to get behind her and we're going to go get a better deal. So that's what Cindy, Terry, and Maxine should have done. It wasn't about me saying I got to go be solo or none of that stuff. I was scared to death. So if there was going to be any lawsuits, it should have been me suing them because they took away my income. They took away my rights to make money. I couldn't use the name En Vogue because they had me sign off on using the name En Vogue. So that was I helped you guys build it and you don't want me to go out and use the name? How selfish. How greedy. Again, I should have sued them.
How have you come to terms? Because we see your spirit and you're teaching us right now, okay? And Stephanie, I'm going to get to your question, but I want to know because trust me, there's some people I want to put pause on, but you don't do it. How did you, because this was your livelihood, this was your livelihood. How did you then come to a place where you're like, okay, I'm just going to start over and just do me? How did you get to that place?
Well, I kind of knew that if I didn't do that, I was going to be consumed with En Vogue. So I just felt like, okay, I can do battle by myself. I've been broke with En Vogue for 8 years. Like, in other words, we were making money on the road, of course. We weren't super broke like I am now. But I was like, we're not making the millions that all the people around us are making. Our managers, our producers. Well, the managers, really the manager, David Lombard, I don't think had millions, but I know he had more than us. But I know that our producer, Denzel Foster, had a mansion. Our choreographer had a mansion. Our choreographer, the guy that helps us dance, that teaches us to dance, has a freaking, there's a problem here. And the only way that I kept my sanity is because I knew my strength. I knew my worth. I knew fighting against them or spending any time in a lawsuit situation is, first of all, costing money. I don't have at the time. And if I don't move on with my life, I'm going to be stuck here trying to fight these girls. So I just went on with my life. I knew my worth. I knew that I had sung the biggest hit that we had at that time. You guys are kicking me out during Don't Let Go. Good luck with that. Good luck with how that's going to work out for you. And I don't think it will because, again, you had me singing the biggest hit. So when you know your power, this is the thing I keep trying to tell people, and I've been doing this for like 10 years with social media. I'm just putting up a good word every day for free, just because I want people to hear you by yourself are worth so much. You don't need a man to tell you that. You don't need your boss, your kids, your parents, your neighbor. You don't need anybody to tell you how great you are. You're automatically that. We were all born with favor. We were all born with amazing skills and abilities that we probably don't even know of, that we're not even aware of. And hearing other people's stories as well. Like, I think you talked about Journey a little while ago when we first started talking. I think Steve Perry got into a rut and he was angry with a lot of stuff. And instead of seeing his worth after he left Journey, he kind of got bitter. And if you let that bitterness, I'm so sorry again.
It's okay.
If you allow that, oh my God, I hope my mom picks up. But if you allow bitterness to take you under, you become, oh my God, I'm in a rut. I've let all these, and I did get into a rut, but I still held my integrity. In other words, I was in a rut to where you and I, if we had a conversation, we were just talking girl to girl, woman to woman, and just sitting down having coffee somewhere, I would be like, don't talk to me about them bitches. I don't want to fucking hear about Cindy. Don't bring them up, please. And I was that angry. Now I can talk about them, and I'm angry to a point, but it's not consuming me like it did before. I can't explain it.
You were going through a grieving process. Think about it. Everything like with a death. It was basically a death. So at first you're angry, and then now you're at a place that I love. I love it. I mean, regardless, not me. So let me not say me. We all love you. We loved you regardless. So the fact that you're telling us that and that's why, my show is called, my company is called Women Are Worthy. We have
Yes.
worth. We have, whether you're a man or a woman, we have it inside. Because think about this. They can take whatever they want to take. They can't take your spirit. They can't take your soul. And they can't take your damn talent. Let's
That's
keep
right.
it real, okay?
That's right.
Because you
Yes.
got it. You know what I'm saying? So you can
Yes.
start over, whatever it is. Think about this. They've never had a hit since, okay?
No,
So,
no, they have not.
and it's not called.
And this is the thing. Somebody said to me one time too, they said, well, you haven't either. And I said, well, you're absolutely right, but I'm not the one with the brand. They still had the brand En Vogue.
No, but you did have a hit. You went on to Lucy Pearl. So you had a hit, even though it's with a group. But you know what I'm saying? It was your voice. Come on. You see, you can be humble right now. Let me do the talking. Let me talk.
Okay.
It was your voice, and it was because everyone gravitated. Yes, you know, he was with Tony, but everyone gravitated. Let's be real. And I'm sure everybody in the group is going to say yes. They gravitated towards it because, oh my God, she's back. She's with Lucy Pearl. And
Yes.
they love that voice. When you think about it, when you left Lucy Pearl and he had the replacement, no hits.
No,
okay,
no,
so
ma'am. No, ma'am.
I'm gonna keep it real. Now, Stephanie Grant said, "Who's someone that you would always want to collaborate with on a song and perform with?"
Oh gosh, there's so many artists. Oh my gosh.
Give us three. Give us three.
I love Maroon 5 because I think they got a lot of soul. They're a bunch of white boys, but they are they're soulful. I love Maroon 5. I mentioned Jasmine Sullivan, but she would sing me Under the Ground. I would be like, okay, I quit. I quit this business. No, I can hold my own with her. Who else would I love to work with? Come on now. Maroon 5. I wish Raphael and I could work again because I think what we did was magical.
Mm-hmm.
But there was another part to that puzzle that they're no longer together anymore. Jake and the Fat Man were my producers before I did Lucy Pearl. And when Raphael heard what I was working on with them, he was like, well, bring them in because I want to work with them too. I think they'd be great for this project. So I brought them into Lucy Pearl. So, and they're not working together anymore. So a Lucy Pearl project wouldn't come together without them. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't work. Sorry. It wouldn't work. Who would I want to work with?
While you're thinking, D said the fans were mad as hell. TS, let me read TS. TS just said, MAGA TNS says, hi, Dawn. After all these years, you were the most memorable. What's their names again? Ooh, that was Shady Boots.
Oh my God.
Chris said,
Yes.
Chris B said she sang Firm Biz with Nas. That was a hit.
Wow.
I'm telling y'all, she's so humble. Let me speak. Let me say what she's not going to say, okay? D said, and a boy, D Angel at LOL, and a boy, a fabulous one, and a boy. I don't know what that means. Her, yes, she said she wants to do something with her. NB says, God will give you back all that was stolen from you.
Wow.
Let me repeat that. Let me repeat this because this is what you need to hear.
Wow.
NB, I'm with you. I'm right there with you. NB says, God will give you back all that was stolen from you, plus more. Overflow with blessings. Forgive the other girls for yourself so your soul can be completely at peace. Love you, Dawn. That's from NB. Okay.
Wow, NB. Thank you so much. I do receive that. That is a blessing over my life. Thank you so much, NB.
Christine said, I've never seen her eyes open so wide before.
Well, I can't. I got these cheeky eyes, but I don't know when people say forgive. That part is hard for me because I don't know how. In other words, how can you forgive some like Raphael? Okay, so with Lucy Pearl, Raphael said to me, if you sign with me, because I had some deals on the table when I signed with him. And I've known Raphael since we were 16, so I went ahead and signed the contract. Yeah, he was 16, I was 16. He would play in my band. So I just trusted him a little too much. I read the contract, but I didn't underline and redline and fine tune my points on that contract. And I signed it. So he told me, I don't have a lot of money to give you up front as an advance, but whatever you need when the time comes, if you need something, I got your back. So here we are. We recorded the whole album. We were supposed to put it out in June. Here we are in November. So June, July, October, November, December. I'm sorry, November. I passed it. Lord have mercy. And the album is still not out. So I'm not making income. So I ended up losing my house. That's very difficult to forgive. It's very hard to do that. I don't know where to find that part of myself that says, "Oh," and so I keep reading. I literally have read a lot of stuff on forgiveness, and what I keep reading is that forgiveness is not necessarily. Because we think that when we forgive, it means that that person was right and they got away with something. So I'm just like, okay, Father. I think they said the one that I understood the most is that forgiveness just frees you from the situation. You're not holding on to anger.
Right.
You feel me? And so yeah. So forgive him.
Miss McKinney says, let me put it on the screen. Miss McKinney says, it's truly hard to forgive people who've hurt you. So I totally understand what she means. Miss McKinney, I understand too, because you know, you don't want to go to jail. You don't want to spend money on them. You don't want to do that. You want to, forgiveness is more about you than them.
Yes.
You don't forget.
You can't forget. You can't go through something and forget it. Once you experience something, you can't unknow it. You can't unfeel it. You can't unexperience it. So yeah, that's a difficult one. But you know, it's funny. I still worked with Raphael on Rifle Love. I did a song with him after for his own solo project. I'm still waiting to get paid for that, by the way. You see what I mean? It's like I keep going in and forgiving and going back to them. And I love Cindy, Terry, Maxine are my sisters for life, no matter what. Nothing can take that away. We created something that is so magical. And for the rest of our lives, and then our lives after we are gone, our music will be indelible. It's a part of the planet. That is that's amazing right there. Just saying that was like, oh, that's awakening. And so I love them, and I love Raphael. Raphael literally is like, I can see us at 16, like he's sitting on a chair playing on stage because he was too nervous to stand up in front of this crowd. And I was too nervous, so I was standing, playing, singing with my back to the audience. You know what I mean? Because we were kids. And then we create this Lucy Pro project that is so magical, so above and beyond, so just incredible. And I am proud of everything that I've done, but I got to look into how to forgive again, because I'm still thinking they get the upper hand. If I forgive them, it means everything's okay. No, it's not okay. I lost my house. You got Cindy, Maxine, Terry, you guys took away my livelihood. You put out to the press and to the fans that I was being a diva and I just left and went solo. No, I didn't just leave and go. So I didn't want to be out of the group at all. You guys kicked me out. You didn't give me a chance to even explain myself. So, and you kept Terry in the group, even though you kicked me out because I did a solo album, or I was getting ready to do a solo album.
But didn't Terry do a solo album?
Terry did a solo album first, and you didn't kick her out. You kept her in the group. So how can I look at that and say it was fair? It wasn't fair. But I gotta forgive you for that. Like, that's hard.
Dee just said, how she says, trust God will show you the way. Harboring anger and hate will only breed the same. What happened happened. Let it go. You're on a journey for tomorrow. Never forget what someone has done. Let me read the other comment she made. That's what she made. She said, and I love this. This is what she said also. You can break a leg and be in pain while it heals. Once it's healed, you will walk again. You will never forget the break, but you will walk again. I got to use that. I love that. And let me tell you, I'm going to share something with you. I am a survivor of sex trafficking, right? And I was when I was younger, yeah.
And wow, Jackie, you're beautiful. Oh my God.
Thank you. The people in my life who created that environment were family members. It was two people that made this happen, right?
Yes.
I do not, at first, when I got myself together, and I was like 15, 16 when this happened. And I'm like, you know what? F them, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But while I was in the street, I had female prostitutes who did so much for me and helped me, right?
Wow.
I'm not, again, I'm saying this to say, I hated those women. They were in my family. I freaking hated them. And I'm going to be honest, I used to pray at night for them to die. Like, let me
I
finish this,
bet.
guys, before you come at me.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm
they
not
have no right to come at you. They
this.
have no right to do that. This is your story.
I would pray for. I'm like, why are they still alive? Why, I'm a young girl. I'm out in the street. I don't have a mom. Why would they do this to me? Yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, I started healing little by little. Joan Rivers was instrumental to my healing, right?
Wow. Yes.
And God has always given me favor with women, and favor. He gave not women, gave me favor for whomever.
Got it.
So
Sure.
I am not one of those that can say white people are like this, white people are like that, because they've helped me, right?
Right.
So I decided one day that I was going to forgive. I'm telling you, I was a bitch, a hardcore bitch. You came at me one way, my brother would tell you I would eat you up and spit you up, spit you out, and eat you up.
Exactly. You were angry.
Angry.
Yeah,
And then I started being angry at all women. That's why I chose a male dominated career, working with men and things like that, and all that kind of stuff, which is crazy. But God told me, Jackie, you have to forgive. I have a bigger plan in store for you. You have to forgive. You have to tell your story about your sex trafficking and females and what you've gone through. You have to tell that story.
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, fine. So I noticed. Now, it was eating away at me, where I was having heart issues and things like that. Little by little, I started to forgive. And it was chipping away at me. And then I started to forgive these people. I surrounded myself. Like, if I would talk to them, if they were in my presence, I would be cordial. So little by little. So I understand what you're saying, because here I was a young kid, innocent, and I didn't have, I was a minor, but I decided to forgive them. And the best way is to live right, look right, because when I look at them, they don't look nothing like this. Okay, because I look damn good for my age.
Exactly.
But then I see I'm shining in God's light. I'm shining in God's light. And I'm not saying now, I'm no punk now, because I'm good with my hands. I'm no punk. So I realize when God says vengeance is mine, vengeance is mine, said the Lord. Vengeance is mine, said the Lord. So when I do that, so now I realize, and I'm telling you, I promise you, Dawn, and I know you're going to come into it. When you start doing what you need to do, and little by little you start getting that forgiveness, I'm telling you, you're going to start seeing what's happening to them.
Not Jackie, this is the thing. No. And I'm sorry to cut you off. I just before I forget my thought. I have forgiven them, and I know this because I can be around them without being angry.
Right.
I can be around them without feeling like, fuck them, I'll never work with them again. And this is what I usually say. I used to say when I first left the group, because they would reach out to me and I would, no, I'm not doing that. And finally I was like, you know what? Let me just do this. Okay. And as soon as I would see any of them, it was like, oh my God, Maxine, Terry, I miss you guys. I love you guys. And like I said, I worked with Raphael. I did Rifle Love. He hasn't paid me for Rifle Love. That's a song that he put on his album, and I haven't gotten one check for. Nothing. So this was after Lucy Pearl and after losing my house, and I still went and worked with that man. So I think I've forgiven. I think I have forgiven them. I will never forget. I can't. And so when the memories come up in your mind, it's like, okay, dude, wait a minute. You know that I lost my house, right? So how do we... You can't move forward until you make amends with me for what happened. I believed in you. I had deals on the table that I could have signed as a solo artist. RCA was sitting right there. Bob Jameson had me ready to go. And I told him, I said, well, Bob, there's a situation. Raphael Sadiq came to me from Tony, and he has Tribe Called Ali from Tribe Called Quest, and he wants to do this super group. What do you think with me from En Vogue? And all three of us come together. He's like, well, no, I don't think you should do it. And I said, well, I gotta parlay. I got to do my thing. And I wish you the best. I thank you for the deal that you had for me. But I really think that this Lucy Pearl, we didn't have a name for it yet, but I think that this group thing with Raphael and Ali is going to be really great. And it's only a one-off. I'm not going to be stuck for 7 years, which was typical of a major record deal. And so I put everything aside, and I had deals on the table My stepdad went into the hospital last night, and that's why the phone keeps ringing. So
That's okay. I have someone at the door trying to get in, and I haven't opened up the door yet. They're
Oh,
looking
you
at
want to
me
get
with
it? Go get
phone.
it.
Okay, so keep talking because I can hear
Yeah,
you. Okay, keep
no,
talking.
you do it.
Okay,
Yes.
keep talking.
So yeah, I love Raphael. You keep talking too. I'll keep talking, and I'm gonna open my shade. Yes, Raphael. I turned down all these things for you. Sorry. Yay! All these deals that were I turned down all these deals that were on the table with him, and he turned his back on me when I needed him the most. You know, and that part is, you lose your house. I don't care who it is. I don't care how kind you are. You could be Mother Teresa. If somebody took something from you that was your, first of all, my credit is still affected. This was what, 2009? I'm sorry, 99. So 99, 2000. So this is 10 years ago. 11 years now. 11 years ago. My credit is still affected. Because you lose the house. That was foreclosure. Yes. So you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's really difficult to see my credit score and say, oh, I love Raphael. I forgive you. It's all good. That part of it is difficult, and I'm still trying. I'm sorry. Do one more thing. I'm still trying, Jackie, to forgive him. I gotta find a way to make it where the forgiveness is there, because I know that I love him, because I've been around him. Like I said, I did Rifle Love, and I don't see a check yet. We tried to talk about doing a reunion a couple of years ago, and we were going to put Q-Tip in the group, and because at the time Ali was busy, so we were going to put an actual rapper in there, because Ali doesn't rap. From Tribe Called Quest, he doesn't rap. So, but I went to the studio. I met with Raphael. Like, we were talking for real about doing this, and after a while, it was just me and Q-Tip on the phone all the time. I'm like, okay, so have you talked to Raphael? And he's like, yeah, this is what Raphael does all the time. He kind of disappears, and you don't hear from him. I'm like, okay, I'm trying with this man. I really am trying. So people, and for a fact, with the mafia, if your word, it's a handshake with them. It's their word. You keep your word. We agree on something. This is it. Okay, you give me your handshake. They take each other very serious like that. And if you go against your word, they take it personal, and they take you out. That's or right. Someone close to you that you love. So I'm just like, okay, Black people are always quick to say, forgive. But I'm like, how do I find that place to forgive him for my house? I know what he told me. I know the promise that he said. It's like, wait a minute. I don't know.
No, but I mean, we're living this life, and it's a journey. So, you have to find that journey, and we're here to help you. Okay.
I commend you for doing that, though, Jackie. I really do, because my thing is, when you were just telling your story, if you can forgive your family for is that what you're saying? You forgave them?
Okay. When I mean I forgave, it was more for me because I was starting getting heart issues, and then I went to therapy, and that's what I realized, because I'm an empath. And you have to be careful with those emotions. So yes, when I say I forgive, the 15, 16-year-old girl doesn't forgive you. The woman that I am now forgave you as a child of God. But trust and believe, if you want a glass of water and it's a hot day, you ain't getting it from me.
Exactly.
Okay? So exactly. I'm gonna be honest about that.
So in other words, okay. I forgive him because he didn't know any better. I forgive Cindy, Terry, and Maxine because they claimed that they were so afraid and they didn't know what to do. But they did the same thing again. So they kicked me out of the group in 97, and then here they come back in 2009 to prepare for the 2010 20-year anniversary. And so we toured that whole year. And they kicked me out again because I didn't choose the same deal that they wanted. So you guys, so now what's the excuse? You said that you didn't know any better when we were kids, and it was 97. Back then you didn't know any better. But here we are in 2009, 2010, and you guys are doing the same shit again. Now you know better.
Right. Now they're being greedy. Now that's being greedy. Because my thing is, for me, what I choose not to do now, hardcore glam TV, love you too. what people need to understand is, for me, again, I'm walking in this thing, meditating and everything, woosah, but trust and believe. I still, if I got to do this, I will do this. But what I'm
Exactly.
choosing to do is, they were greedy. Okay, when
Yes.
you can blame it on being, naive when it first happened.
Exactly.
And again, they're being greedy. Now
It wasn't even greed, because like I told them, you're not getting anything. Listen, there were 3 deals on the table. Those 3 deals were, and this is 2009, like I said, those 3 deals, let me see, those 3 deals were Sony. Sony Records is a major corporation. Then you have Warner Brothers, major corporation. They do movies and they do music. And then you got Roughtown. Who's Roughtown? Anybody tell me Roughtown? Anybody? No? It was nobody. It was like, come on, these 3 deals, and out of all those 3, the 2 majors and then this tiny little nobody, they're thinking that Roughtown's going to give us $50,000 a piece. And I said, you guys, first of all, if you read the contract, in the first page, on the second paragraph, it says right there in black and white that you only get $10,000 upon signing, and the other 40 if the album sells. If the album sells. No, Dawn, you're wrong. You're wrong, Maxine. You're wrong. We're going to take your $50,000 and split it 3 ways. I do very well with voices. I can mimic people very well. Dawn, we're going to take your $50,000. We're going to split it 3 ways. I'm like, okay, I got to go. Because we had been on the phone for 2 hours. So a month later, Maxine sends me an email and says, Dawn, you are absolutely right. This Roughtown deal is crap, and we're probably going to have to sue to get out of it. I still have that email. It's going in my book. I'm going to screenshot it and put it in the book somehow. And I said, Maxine, I got to pop my collar, because I told you guys, don't sign. We were better than that. And you guys swore up and down that I didn't know what I was talking about. Terry was like, you need to explain to me why you want to sign the deal. I was like, I don't have to explain anything. We're not 21 years old anymore. I was 21. They were 22. And Terry's 22 years older than me. I was 21. She was 23. Cindy and Maxine were 26 or 7 when we got in the group. So no, I don't have to explain anything. I'm not a little girl anymore. We're not young back in the day. But if you read your contract, and Maxine said, well, I didn't read the contract. Okay, well, that's why we're in trouble. That's why you guys are getting ready to sign a deal that doesn't make any sense.
Someone said about they went to Roughtown because they were told it was a better deal because it was Renee and Angela.
It wasn't Renee and Angela. It was Renee by himself. So whoever that is doesn't know what they're talking about. Thank you, but you don't know. This was Renee from Renee and Angela, yes. But Renee was a friend of Denny and Tommy. Really, Denny, Denzel Foster, our producer. That's why they signed a deal with him. Because they thought, and Cindy knew Renee from, she was a child star when they met. And I forgot what they worked on together, but he knew her from, so he didn't even want to sue after a while. When they didn't go, so, okay. We had these 3 deals on the table. They signed with Roughtown. Cindy and Terry ended up not liking the deal, so they stopped going to the studio to record. Maxine continued to go to the studio, and Cindy and Terry got sued by Renee. And Renee was like, Maxine, I'm not going to sue you because you came to the studio every day. You showed and proved. Cindy and Terry ended up suing Maxine in 2013 as well. It was a mess. So no, this was not Renee and Angela. This was just Renee. And Renee, because he had worked with Michael Jackson, built a studio. He worked on the Thriller album, and he had some songs on there. So what do you call it? Because he had a song on that album, his song also was a hit because it was vicariously on that record. It wasn't released as a single, but it was on that record. And yeah, so Cindy and Terry were sued by Renee. And my thing was, again, you guys, we have the original 4 members together for the first time in so many years. Let's make the right decision. Let's wait for the right deal. In fact, we can go to Capitol Records. We can go to Universal Records. We can go RCA, MCA, Motown. We can go and ask for the right deal because this is the 4 originals coming. So it's Cindy, Terry, Maxine, and Dawn is back too. You guys can call your own shots. We could have called our own shots.
You know now, if you guys came together to do a tour.
No,
okay?
This was then. This is not what happened now.
I know, but I'm just saying, but you know, and that's why I don't think people have the insight to look forward or look at the big picture. They're just looking at what's actually in front of them. And that's what you need to do. You need to look at the big picture. DC said, which one? DC said, which one, En Vogue, do you think would have been released as a single, but wasn't? What was your favorite En Vogue song with leads from each Maxine, Cindy, and Terry?
Each what? Each record?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What record though?
Let's go with the first one first. Which En Vogue song do you think what should have been released as a single,
From
but
what
wasn't?
album? Oh,
Huh?
that wasn't. Oh, I see.
That wasn't.
Uh, I think Desire would have been big. I think that was on the first album. I think, oof. Well, I never got to sing the song. So I recorded the what became EV3. It was our fourth album.
Mm-hmm.
And I recorded that with them. And Right Direction on that album, I thought was just so magical because it was like a country western song. We were stepping into different genres by that song. You know what I mean? The guitar was like, it was very like, I could just see, and she started the song on this dusty road. When I'm on this dusty road, I gotta listen to it again. But that's what she says, and because you can hear it, you can picture it like she's in this small town, and she's walking with a suitcase over her shoulder, a backpack over her shoulder, and she's just like kind of like wandering the earth. And that's what it felt like to me. It was this country western song. It was very much out of our element, but because it was us, it worked.
Someone said Right Direction was a
Right
beautiful
Direction.
song.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah, Right Direction. It was so great. Right Direction, I thought, should have been a single.
Yeah, someone's listening to on their radio right now. That's
oh my God.
Okay, so now you've gone through that hellish stuff that you've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing now to remain sane in this pandemic? Because let me tell you, yesterday was not a great day for me because, you're isolated, you're home, because I'm in Georgia right now. And it's like being your own entrepreneur, you're looking at the walls and it's sucking in. So what are you doing in order to remain sane right now?
I don't listen to the government. I just don't. I have to wear a mask because if you walk into some place without one, I will be face down on the ground, handcuffed, and people are so fearful. They allow the government to tell us whatever they want to say. There's a saying by Hitler who's this most hated person probably on the planet. He said, when he was alive, if you tell people the lie long enough, they start to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Over and over again. Wear your mask 6 feet apart. Oh my God, you need a vaccine. Black people first with this vaccine. You're not getting me to do that shit. I'm not stupid. I'm not crazy. I listen to the news. As an empath, I'm going to tell you this. I have something that I posted maybe about, I don't know, a month ago or so. I've done so many interviews, but in between, I try to post a message, just having nothing to do with an interview. And it says, as an empath, you are supposed to observe but not absorb what's happening in the world. So I try not to, I'm going out. I'm not going to see, because at that point, they're controlling us. It's called martial law. Stay in your homes. Don't talk back. Wear your mask 6 feet apart. I think the what is it called? Social distancing was brought up. I think a 16 or 13-year-old girl came up with that term. It's like, it's not even a thing. You mean to tell me that I have to wear my mask when I go into the restaurant? I wear my mask. I have on my mask. Hey guys, I got my mask on. I'm wearing my mask. I'm sitting down and I'm ordering my food. And as soon as your food comes, you can take your mask off to eat. Where does COVID go? When you take your mask off to eat. Come on, I got to look at common sense. To me, I can't listen to and obey what the government tells me. I am a rebel, and not just because, she wants to be against the government. No, because I see common sense. You guys are doing something with these masks. There's another screenshot that I have from Instagram that somebody put up, and it shows a woman with a mask on, and she's got a chain with a lock on the mask. They're trying to say that back in the day in Israel, Pakistan, Israel, that's why they have women wear masks over in those countries, because it takes away their voice. It stops us from communicating as human beings, because when we talk, we look at each other's mouths. We don't look at each other's eyes. Believe it or not, we look at each other's mouths. And so it's telling us that we have no voice no more. We as a government control you, because it's like the government said that there is a virus out there, and I know that there's a virus. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but people are not dropping dead every single day. You're not seeing homeless people being driven away in ambulances because they died of COVID out there. They're dying of it, but they're not. See, homeless people don't have masks. They can't wash their hands. They don't have a way of keeping germs away like we do, and over washing our hands and over putting, stuff on our hands all the time. So how are they not dying at an alarming rate? They're dying from it, but not like dropping dead, like, oh my God, like COVID is just in the streets running wild. And when I see people in their cars, I'm like, why do you have your mask on in the car? Take your mask off, because we are breathing also.
Carbon monoxide. Yep.
Thank you, because that's what they want us to do, so that we become susceptible to COVID. It's just like, Father God, I keep saying, God, just please wake us up. Whoever's doing this is crimes against humanity. It really is. So I'm like, okay, you got to get sunshine. You have to be outside of the house. You have to communicate with human beings. That's what they want to shut down. People talking to each other, relating to each other. Sometimes you'll be in the store and you're standing in line. You just start a conversation with someone, or they ask you about, oh my God, I wanted to try those chips or those crackers. Are they good? And you start a little conversation, and it makes their day, or they make my day. Or, the cashier, and it's like we start laughing about something, and the person behind me is laughing as well because we're talking. That's how human beings relate to each other. And it's just really, I'm like, Father, this is not okay what is happening right now. To me, it is a pandemic, a scamdemic. And you're not going to get Black people to take the vaccine first. No, please don't.
It's, when you said that, I want to bring this up because I don't want to end our show without saying this. How did you feel when you found out R&B singer Aaliyah loved you?
Oh my God!
When I say she loved you. You were her favorite in the group.
Yes.
How did you feel when you found out?
Oh my gosh, I have that clip. Somebody sent it to me, and she said, and I played Dawn.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God. Because we saw each other one time. We were backstage, and we were walking through I was at a party at an after show, after an award show, at an after party. And we walked past each other, and I saw her coming, and she saw me coming. She was like, hey, Dawn, how are you? And I said, Aaliyah, how are you? I love you. And she said, I love you too. And that was it. We didn't get to talk because we were both going, and she was probably going to do press, and I think I was going to the car. So yeah, that really warms my heart that she played me in a play, or she did some stuff with her friends, and that she played me. That is really honorable. She was probably a rebel too. You know what I mean?
Yes, I can so see you and her having the same spirit, because if you go back in her videos, that's what I saw. I saw you. Wow. And when you look at it, and when she's talking and she's interviewing, I see her movement similar to yours.
Yes.
So if you really go back and look at it, you'll see it. So if this was your choice, they would decide to make an En Vogue biography, who would you like to play you?
Well, I don't like biopics at all. I think that En Vogue deserves an actual movie. So I'm going to do a movie.
Okay, and who would you like to play you?
I'm going to do the movie. There's a show called Star. I think Star is on Netflix or Hulu. And there's a young girl. She's a little bit darker than me. She's a chocolate girl, but she's really pretty. She's feisty. I love her because of that part. But she's gorgeous, and she looks like she's tight eyes and everything, just like me. Like, she looked like she could be my daughter. Ryan. I think her name is Ryan.
Oh, Ryan. Is she the one who was on? Yeah, she was with what's his name? McDaniels or Lee Daniels?
Yes, Star.
Yes. Because everyone used to think that she reminded them of Naomi Campbell. I remember that. Yes, I remember that.
But I love her spirit. She is no joke. She's feisty, and I know that she would play me. She would play me the right way. I wasn't always angry. But once I started to see the light of things, and like they say, the wool was pulled from over my eyes, and I was like, oh my God, we're not getting paid. We're $2 a record. That was me. And I think that she could play that very well. And I would play myself as I got older. I would play myself. Okay. I don't think they do that enough in biopic movies. Like the guy that played Elton John, I thought Elton John should have played himself as he was older.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, of course, Freddie Mercury couldn't play himself because he's dead now, many years. But I thought the guys should have played themselves as they got older. Really, in that movie Queen, I don't think they actually showed the guys today. But sometimes if you're dreaming back about stuff and you're telling a story, why not let the guys tell their own story?
Exactly.
I don't get that. Why they don't use the people to say, what happened. Natalie Cole should have done her own story.
Yes, I agree.
Not because she was alive at that time, and she, not Deborah Cox. I think she did a great job. Who played her? I think it was. So, but she should have played herself, because only she could talk about the hurt when her father died. He was such an iconic figure, and she looked up to him, and she would sing with him and perform with him, and so she emulated herself after her father. And I think her mother was a little bit jealous because of that. They had this very close relationship, father-daughter. Mm-hmm. So I think her mom was a little bit jealous of that. But I think I will play me as I'm older. I don't want anybody else. They can't emulate the anger and the feeling that I felt and all of that stuff that I described, and how I was on the elevator after I left the group and they kicked me out, and we were going downstairs on the elevator and I was just looking at the floor and I could hear the ding after every floor, and we were at the bottom really quickly because I think Terry was on the 4th or 5th floor. It wasn't high. She wasn't high up. And Maxine said to me in the elevator, Dawn, are you going to rehearsal? Are you going to be at rehearsal? Dawn, are you gonna be rehearsed? And I was like, Max, I'm sorry. Yes, yeah, because I was out of body.
Right.
I was completely like, I don't even hear you right now. Like, I just don't. So those things I can't emulate.
You just said something, because when you were talking, what I saw while you was talking, I was like having an out of body experience, and you just said that. I see you talking, but I'm watching you while you're talking as if I'm watching Rock. Do you remember you guys were on Rock?
Wow. Yes.
Then when you kept talking, I remembered you on Different World. So you're talking and I'm seeing this whole thing playing out while you're talking. It's like I'm having an out-of-body experience. Okay, DT said, thank you for providing this time with Dawn. Dawn was everyone's favorite because she looked and felt real to us. Okay, everyone's calling you beautiful. Oh, Teresa Randall played Natalie Cole.
Teresa Randall. Yes, that's right. That's right. And she did a great job. But I just thought
Glam TV. Sean A says Dawn gives it straight and direct. Cindy and Terry usually they're well rehearsed answers. Ooh.
Wow.
Yes. And
I've been telling the truth for a very long time. I've been saying the same thing since I left the group in '97. So
DT said, no shade, but Terry and Cindy were cool, but everything else was plastic. They seemed to give the canned answers and canned smiles. Dawn was real humble from the beginning. Agreed.
Wow, thank you, DT. Oh my goodness. Wow. Sean A, thank you too.
Yang 31 says, she reminds me of Lauryn Hill. Is it Dawn reminds you of Lauryn Hill, or is it Ryan Destiny who reminds you of Lauryn Hill?
She kind of does too, just because she's chocolate pretty girl. I have been telling this for a while. There were a few shows that we were on as a group, and this was '92, and we were in London. And the guy, it's on YouTube, and the guy says to me, he says, "Well, so would any of you girls date a bloke? Because they call guys there, they call them blokes. Would you date a bloke who was poor and didn't have money?" And I said, "Well, we're broke. We don't have money." You know what I mean? I've been saying this for a long time. Maxine and I did an interview on Access Hollywood with Sean Robinson, and Maxine is sitting right by me, and Sean said, "So Dawn, you left the group and blah, 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 and what happened?" And I said, I was just telling the whole thing that I didn't like the fact that we were making 2 pennies a record. And this was in 2013 that I said this. And Maxine did not say, "Well, Dawn, no, that's not how it went," or "No, we made more money than that," or, she didn't contest it. She didn't say anything. And she was sitting right there, and I was getting deeper into, and I was like, oh my God, I'm sitting here with Maxine saying all this stuff. Because I was like, and the girls kicked me out. You know what I mean? And Maxine never said anything about it. She just kind of like, yeah, Dawn, we did. So, and we were also on a show called Private Sessions, and it's also on YouTube, and it's a white woman doing, she's interviewing us, and we do some live performances on there as well. And we were sitting on the couch, and Maxine She said to me, Dawn, so you left the group for a while. And I wasn't expecting this at all, Jackie. She said, Dawn, so you left the group for a while. You took a hiatus and you did your thing. And I said, no, I didn't take a hiatus. Wasn't happy with the kind of money we were making. What I don't like is that I didn't say we were only making 2 cents a record. I didn't make it definite. I just said I wasn't happy with what we were making, but I didn't say how much we weren't making or how much we were making, which was 2 cents a record. And I didn't say, and they kept Terry in the group. She did a solo album first. I did a solo album second, and they kicked me out, but they kept Terry. I didn't say all that. I was too nervous to say it in front of the girls. Now, today, this Dawn,
you remind me of the way you're talking, because you remember when TLC was going through their whole bankruptcy and Left Eye said, okay, get a pen and paper. Let me tell you how the record business goes. And exactly. I loved when she did that. So my question to you now is, because we talked about the music, we talked about this new feng shui, this empath, this beautiful woman in front of me. My question to you is, are you dating? You don't have to answer if you don't want to.
No,
but
it's okay.
Looking for Mr. Right, Miss Right? What do you?
Mr.
Okay.
There's no, I'm not dating, and to me, I'm not looking for anybody because I'm rebuilding. Like this time right now, doing interviews, and I have to thank you the same way that I have every single podcast I've been on. Well, the first few I forgot to, but this one I have to thank you like I have the last several. You have a platform. You created something. I don't know if you did it out of desperate because COVID was happening, but for whatever reason, you have a podcast. You have a platform that I am able to talk to the world through and talk to my fans. And so I thank you for having me on your show, but I am focused right now on my career. I can't focus on a man. Now, that's not to say that if a man didn't come along, that I would not focus on him. If the right man came in, and what I mean by that is, I've dated men in the past that had what I thought was a good heart. First of all, a handsome face, because I'm a sucker for a pretty face. I really am. I'm just a pretty man, dark, light, white, brown, doesn't matter to me. Right. I am like, pretty always gets me first. And that's usually the thing that you see first is the face. You don't talk to each other because he's across the room or he's walking into the building and you don't know each other yet. So you see each other first. So we're all pretty much guilty of, hey, wow, you're good looking. Oh my God, you're pretty. Well, and that's it. And then you start talking to each other if he's bold enough to approach. And I fell for that without knowing that they actually had dreams or aspirations of their own, because they usually get involved in my career. And I'm like, dude, first of all, step back, because I've been doing this 30 years. I don't need you to step in and try to help me with my situation. You don't have one. You don't have a career like me. So you can't tell me about my stuff. So I made the mistake of allowing my ex-husband and ex-boyfriends to get involved in my life that way. And now I'm like, no, if it happens, it's going to be organic and it's going to be wonderful and it's going to be right, because I'm letting God choose as opposed to me.
And that's what you need to do, because this year I'll be married 32 years, right?
Wow, yes.
I let God choose. Well, I had a little do with it, but the right people, the right person will come to you, because you're right. You need a man who has his own. You don't need him to become your manager, because look how bad that's turned out for, Tina Turner. We can go on and on.
Mary J. Blige, yeah.
Oh my God, Mary J. Blige, right?
Yeah.
We can go on and on and on. So you need to find someone who has his own, and he's not, you don't have to come home and you're both arguing about the music and he's
exactly.
You just have to have your own, where I have my separate thing. I left corporate America because I was hearing that this is what I need to do, empowering women, create a platform where women can talk about what they're doing, supporting each other and loving each other. You're definitely in our village. Okay. You're definitely one of our sister girls. Anything that we can do to support you, because the fact that we're both empaths, and I'm telling you, I've been stalking you for years, and I just felt something. I didn't come into my empath until 3 years ago. That's how I found out. And because I was always sensitive, I would cry, I would feel with other people, because now they are saying I'm not an empath, I'm an indigo child.
Indigo child, yes, a star seed.
Even So I'm learning how to harness that right now.
So
But
can we talk about, because I wanted to talk about that. I told you in one of the emails, I wanted to talk about crystals, because you asked me if I was into crystals and if I was into, what did you ask me?
I asked if you were into crystals, and I think I asked if are you familiar with binaural beats?
Binaural beats,
Beats,
exactly. Yes, exactly.
yes.
Yes, I am.
I knew it. I knew
People, exactly. My best friend was into crystals, and her daughter are very intuitive, very empathic. Well, I wouldn't say so empathic, because her daughter can be a little bit cold. But they're very intuitive. They have what do you call it when you are they're not psychic, but they are, there's another word for it. And I'm more empathic. I feel the world on my shoulders. I cry, like you said, I'm very sensitive to people's feelings. And even if a face doesn't look right, or they give an answer and it's not quite right, I'm like, oh, what did that mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm always, or what did she mean when she said that? Somebody else is like, she didn't even, what do you mean? She didn't say nothing. It wasn't even a thing. No, you're putting too much into it, Dawn. You're overthinking. That's me. So with crystals, though, crystals have been on the planet for so long because it took millions of years to form and shape them. It took a lot of pressure. And so when they dig them up, you're supposed to take crystals, and people are like, oh, that's satanic and that's demonic and you're into voodoo. Okay, first of all, what you don't know, you fear. Mm-hmm. What you don't know, you put these labels on stuff without even knowing what it is. But basically, crystals, you're supposed to take the crystals and put them in a little bit of sea salt or sea salt water, depending on if they have a lot of mud or dust and stuff on them. And you sit them overnight. Hopefully you can have a full moon where you can sit them under the moon, or you sit them in the sunshine in the morning and let them get all the energy in there. And then you just hold them. So I remember somebody said that they put, Jim Rohn, when he was alive, he said, when I go on stage, I'm always scared, because he's a metaphysical speaker. And there's a lot of stuff on Jim Rohn online. He's so funny, especially his early days. He was a funny guy, but he would talk to you like, he would say my favorite thing about Jim Rohn, he would say, my favorite speech, he said, a lot of people go to the ocean with a spoon, a teaspoon. And that's all they're trying to get from the universe is a teaspoon worth of water. And then by the time they walk back to their towel, most of the water is spilled on the way from the ocean to the towel. He said, so at least bring a bucket, you know what I mean? At least bring something big enough to get so much water that you can't spill it. That's how much we can ask the universe for help when we need it. We only go, God, I just need this little bit. And if you can give me this job, it's like, no, Father, I want to own the company. I want to build a business. We don't ask for enough. You know what I mean? And so that is why I'm like, I keep telling people. So he said when he does a speech, he's always scared when he goes on the stage, but he uses a crystal. A certain crystal, and I have it too. I have one that it gives you energy, and it gives you kind of like God in your pocket. Like God is with you. Your angels are with you, and that you're not going out on stage alone, and you don't have to be afraid. And all the people in the audience are your friends, and they love you, and you get love from the audience. There's nothing to fear, because no one out there wants you to fail. No one out there wants you to not do well. They're all there because they love you. And so bring your crystal and have it in your pocket, and just every now and then you touch it. Sometimes my costumes, I can't because there's no pockets. Right. So I was like, oh my God, I got to get crystals. And I'm forgetting all the crystals now, but there's some wonderful crystals that are.
I personally have white crystal. I have a white crystal, and that's healing, and that helps with the
What
other.
What is it called?
The one and the rose. I have the rose crystal. I mean, I have so many crystals now. Yes,
you have quartz.
Yep, I have rose quartz. I have the tiger or something. I have so many.
I do too. I have tiger too. I have onyx, the black one. The rose quartz, though, just because you talked about love before, that's the one that brings love into your life. So just and it's not praying to the quartz. It's just saying, Father, you hold the crystal and you just say a prayer. Father God, thank you so much for the man that's supposed to be in my life. I know that you bring him when it's supposed to be my time. He'll come along. He's looking for me, because what's looking for you, what you're looking for is looking for you.
Yep. Yes. That's what I tell people. You are what you attract. And what I do whenever something's going on, I like to do grounding. So I like to go out really freezing or whatever in the morning and get the dew from the grass and stand on it. And I found this old Peruvian cure. It's called the water cure. They finally translated it into English. So like if you have a headache or anything's happening, you
Right.
soak a towel with freezing cold water from the sink, you
Mm-hmm.
squeeze the towel and you put it around where your abdomen is, like your intestine.
Ooh,
And when I
yeah.
tell you, your stomach will start gurgling and making these sounds. Your headache will go away. If
Oh
your
my God.
attacks will go away. I'm telling you because I'm plant-based and I'm all into this whole thing. So I'm going to be doing
Yes.
shows about this because I want people to see. And these are the things why I'm not in jail. I don't put hands on people and I'm not in jail because some folks make you want to kill them. Okay.
Yes, I do.
These are the things that I'm doing to
I'm
like.
so proud of you,
So,
Jackie. I really am. Because to come from the life that you had to be where you're at now, that's work.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I love Ayanna Van Zandt, but sometimes she's too in people's faces and she's not understanding.
Mhm.
Sometimes she doesn't understand that I came from so much hardship. I came from so much pain. And you're telling me right now in an hour, or it takes about, I don't know, when you film a show, it's about maybe a good 6 to 7 hour day of filming. And then they edit, and maybe it's a 2 or 3 day situation, and then they edit all of that. And so in that time, you expect these people to understand how they should heal. You did the work to get from that childhood life that you had, that you were forced into, to the place that you're at now. That is humongous. That is so huge. That is so healing.
And I'm going to receive that because, and I tell people, for me, binaural beats help.
Yes.
You guys got to listen to it's BINUARAL beats. And
Exactly.
you listen to that because what happens, like if you have high blood pressure, you listen to it. If
Yes.
you're having panic attacks, if you're having anything you could think of, arthritis, anything you could think of, you do that. And I also tell, and I'm doing a series that I'm going to be talking about relationships and stuff.
Okay.
But my thing is, we're so busy working on the outside. We're doing our eyes, we're doing our face, but the Bible talks about what comes out of the mouth, and you have to feed things.
Exactly.
You have
feed
to
your
feed
soul.
things into your soul.
Yes.
So right now, I'm going to be honest. My soul is, my soul is at peace.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really at peace, and that's all I wanted in my life.
That's so good.
Because I'm telling you, I was thinking about doing so many horrific things, but then God has blessed me with wonderful people, my mayors, my, where I'm living, my police chiefs, my
Wow.
sponsors. When I tell you God has given me overflow. So now, but what I'm doing is I was stifling myself. I knew I wanted to go to the next level, but something held me back. Dawn, I'm telling you, I would work in male-dominated place and where I was the only Black female.
Yes.
And I never had to worry about my raises, my whatever. I was always, God gave me favor. So what I'm learning now to do is, I want to show women that you're worthy. I have this saying that I say, we're all in the same book, just different chapters. Okay, nice. So you may be in chapter 20, I'm in chapter 19.
Yes.
I'm going to get into your chapter, but I have to finish my pages before I get into your chapter.
Exactly.
That's what I think we need to do. We all should support you, whatever music, whatever you have going on. You're a beautiful soul. You deserve to have riches. There's nothing wrong with saying you want to be paid, and
yeah.
You want to have your house. You want to have your husband. You want to take care of your family. There is anything wrong with that. But Dawn, I'm here to tell you. I think my eyelash is about to fall off, but
take it off.
Yeah, I'm holding it up right now.
No, I take them off. I don't. I don't even wear them anymore. I just put on mascara today.
Well, I do because I feel tears about to come. So I don't want, because when I did it the last time, someone told me that they were texting me, Jackie, your lashes. I want you to know, Dawn, that as wounded birds, okay? We're all wounded. Everyone has some sort of trauma that has happened in their life, drama in their life.
Exactly.
We cannot stay there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying to forgive and just move on. You have to do the work to move on. You have to do that. But you have to know that you were created in God's likeness. Dawn, you are fucking phenomenal.
Oh, thank you, Jackie.
Forget about your voice for a minute.
Yeah.
The spirit that I'm seeing here deserves greatness. Don't take any shorts. Don't let no freaking man come in and tell you what to do.
Never again.
Come together, right?
Right.
Any female that's in your group, if they're not so, they have this saying that if you're not supporting me, you need to go in the back. I don't freaking want you in the back. I want you in the fucking auditorium. I don't want you in the room that I'm in. You have too much greatness to waste time. We're at an age now. I don't want to teach. There's certain things I'm not going to teach. I'm not going to lead you to water. I'm going to give you the GPS to the water. You figure it out.
You can find it for yourself.
I'm not. Figure it yourself. I'm going to give you the navigations, but I'm not going to lead you. So what I'm going to say, Dawn, and for everyone who's out there, thank you for being on live for us for so long. We appreciate it. I do. Please subscribe.
Hey, Evan.
But what
that's my brother Evan. I'm sorry, that's Evan.
Evan Gibson. That's what he said. This is so deep. He's so deep. You need to know and just keep surrounding yourself. Because Dawn, what I love about this country is, I'm Jamaican and Cuban. What I love about this country, you are never too old to, whether it's a singing. I know we have this sexism thing going on.
Yes.
With the talent that you have, no one by far can outbeat that. You're smart. You're a thinker. You have that empath in you. Don't let me look. Don't let me have to come down there and roll up and do something to somebody because they done did something.
I will not call Jackie. Oh my God.
You're now my sister.
I know you will.
Okay, so just know that we are here for you. We want you to.
Thank you so much.
Win. Like you said, again, we're not asking you to sing, but the bird. I'm telling you, I was getting this pull. This earth was pulling me towards you, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to bother her. I'm not going to bother her. And the universe kept saying, Jackie, tell your assistant to contact her, but make sure you talk to her. And I'm telling you, I'm just so blessed to talk to someone who's gone through shit.
Yeah, thank you, Jackie.
You know what I'm saying? So
you've been there. You understand. It wasn't my shit. My shit is not yours. Just like we don't have anyone else's. We all have our own, like you said. But I'm proud of myself because I know I don't think that I've forgiven them as much as I should. But I know that I've gotten to the point where I can be around them without having to hurt someone, like you said. I'm not a physical person, but at times I told Terry one time, I will kick your ass. I am not like, because Cindy got in her face, but Cindy didn't actually do it. Because and she deserved it. And I felt bad for doing that because I felt like she was being so honorary. And it's like she was mad at me because I was looking at our contracts and we were looking at stuff and trying to figure out why we're not making any money. And she felt like I slighted her. And I was like, wait a minute. Yes, my contract is your contract, is Cindy's contract, is Maxine's contract. We all have the same one. But I'm looking at this because I'm trying to figure out why we're only making 2 pennies a record. And if you're upset with that, then so be it. And don't call my house threatening me. She said something about doing something or putting a lawsuit against me or something because I'm looking at our paperwork. So obviously you have something to hide. That's how I feel about it now. I'm looking in hindsight. What I'm proud of, though, and I can see the wheels turning. I can see stuff coming to me. I'm being offered movies. I'm being offered. Yes, Jackie, I really am. Thank you so much. Like, God is amazing. I'm seeing it all come full circle without having to do very much. It's just amazing that I'm being offered really, because I get offers all these things are people that are connected to things that are real. Book deals that are real. Because I had a book deal. I'm out of it now because I wanted to be. I didn't feel right about that situation. So now I just got another one that is 100% my favor. That never happens. When you do a book deal, you give a percentage to them in a certain, but they want to, they're a big company, but they're trying a different division for their company. So they're like, if you do this with us, we'll do this. So I'm having my attorneys look it over. And any day I'm going to sign that. So, and now I have, I've had the ghostwriter for a while. So we've been working on the book to finish everything so that by the time I sign with them, this book can be done and out. And I'm just seeing how things are coming to me. It's just God. I feel it. I feel it in such a big way. And I'm not afraid anymore. And I'm not so angry that it's all consuming like it used to be. And that is why I think everything is coming to me, because I was consumed with anger. I was so pissed off.
But you have to try it. You're no longer by yourself. You have us. We're here. And please, before you do anything, make sure you pray over it.
I always
do. Your
do.
crystals, God is in control. As Sean A. said, he is in control. It's
Yes.
your time. 2020 was the year of shackles.
No, I got to correct you on that, Jackie, because you're an empath. You understand this. 2020 was 0 hour. Anything that starts off 0 and then goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So it was the 0 hour. It was a lot of cleanup. It was a lot of the planet coming together. We had to slow down as a society and stay home for a while. So that meant that the air, especially in Los Angeles, was cleaning up. They said that the air in India is so literally you can almost cut it with a knife. It is that thick. It is that brown. It is that dirty. The air in India was cleaning up. It was clearing up. The air in Los Angeles, they have a camera at every airport has a camera or a satellite. And they were taking pictures of the sky. They showed pictures of the sky in Los Angeles before COVID.
The smog.
During COVID, and just before they released everybody and said that they can open up the city again. How clean it was. You never see that in LA. I lived there for 15, 16 years and never saw the sky. Even after rain, you can still see a little bit of the smog. So by us staying home, we had no dirt and over consuming and buying stuff at the store that we didn't need. We had to stay home and we had to slow down. And now we also, parents connected with their kids. They were helping them homeschool because they were home from work. So they were like, oh my God, this is the homework you have? Like, I'm proud of you. So parents and kids were connecting in a way that they didn't before. The parents were like, go do your homework. Now they would help their kids with their homework. So we were connecting in ways that we didn't do before COVID. So I really think that was like a reset button for the planet. And now it's like, okay, God is opening it back up, and not as a society, but he's opening up the doors for us to have what we want. And now I'm seeing things come to fruition in a big way. So I am grateful. I'm so grateful. Like I couldn't have worked out all these interviews. If I had a publicist, I would have had to pay them a lot of money for. I've done over 80 interviews.
Well, and see, that's what's helping people like me who we're getting the big stars such as yourself.
Yes.
Our shows, because prior to this, it wasn't happening because we had to go publicists, and the publicists had to see how many followers you have and how big and all that.
Some of these interviews, they've been asking me, how much do you charge? I'm like, I don't charge. And they're like, oh my God, this person charged me. And so your platform may not have gotten celebrities because you have to pay. And who has that kind of money? To me, I should be paying you for allowing me on your platform to talk to the fans.
Well, see, but that's how
I look at it.
But see, God has worked it for us that when we get celebrities, the name, because that was a God bless name, women are worthy. And It's like they get intrigued and they're like, okay, and they watch some of the interviews and I'm like, okay, because I don't do salacious stuff. Like we don't want to get into the whole
It's
stuff.
not catty. You're
right.
Not messy.
We're not that type of a show. We're a show that want to know, how did you get there? How did you stay there? And how did you come out? So for me, I said it was shackles because we had to stay in, because we were forced to stay in.
Got it.
But then now in 2021, it's the year of rebirth. It's the time to go out, because think about it. You did more with less. Now when we come out, because you weren't getting your nails done as often, you wasn't getting the makeup person.
I just got them done.
You have to do your own makeup. I'm now a YouTube University PhD person when it comes to makeup now.
Yes, exactly.
Things like that. When you're throwing on a weave, you're like, okay, let me watch this. Let me, watch that. Or if I'm doing natural hair, let me do
I'm
this.
doing my own hair now. Like that was beautiful to get out of the weave for a while. It's like, oh my gosh, my hair is beautiful and I love my hair. It's like that. I'm finding those things out about myself,
You're finding out
how to braid it and put braids in and add hair, and
you're loving yourself. You're looking at your body, because then you couldn't go to the gym. So then you have to be creative. And for me, now I'm doing my own mask. I'm doing more. Now I can do more of a cooking show. I love me. I've always loved me before, but now I realize how strong, when I tell my story, how strong I am, and the woman that I am. And I only want to surround myself with women such as you and other women, because I don't have time to show. I just want to, people who are where I am right now, where do we go from here? How do we climb the mountain? So that's what I'm.
So where I go from here, just so we can sum this up, because I have another one. I got a pre-recorded interview after this. But where I'm going from here is I'm building. I'm never again going to put myself in a situation where I have to depend on people and I don't have anything for myself. When you become dependent on people, they start to think that they can use you. Oh, well, she needs me, so I'm going to make sure that I hold this carrot over and dang it over her head. And it's like, no, I'm having to be efficient on my own and figure things out for myself that I didn't know before. I'm used to, from En Vogue, our publicist set up all of our interviews. And now I'm having to do this for myself, and I'm so proud. So I have probably another 80 more interviews to go, and I'm booked into March now. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Well, we want you back on when your book is released.
Yes, I would love to
follow you on social media. Yes. I just want to say, sister girl, thank you. You're an empath. It's just been a pleasure.
Jackie, and mine too. I love you. I think you are amazing. You are your life is a book. Your life is a movie. You know what I mean? Iyanla Vanzant can do the things that she does as an empath, as a healer, because of the life that she lived. She was literally, and I don't know if everyone knows this, but in one of her books, either In the Valley, it wasn't Acts of Faith, because that's a daily word, but I think In the Valley, she talks about when her mother was literally sleeping and she was getting ready to give birth, and she had to run upstairs because she needed a ride to the airport and the guy wasn't home. So she had to hail a cab, a taxi, and in the taxi, she gave birth to Iyanla Vanzant on a dirty taxi floor. She fell. She slipped out of her hands and fell on the floor.
But think about that. Look what happened.
What a life. That's what I'm saying.
And look how it led her, the issues she had,
exactly. And you take the pieces of your life that were nothing, and that's what you did. That's what you did. You were in child trafficking. Most people that were molested look at life like they're victim. Somebody took something from me. They took my innocence, and so I am a victim. I can't go any further. I can't even open my eyes in the morning. I'm angry because this person did that and they didn't protect me. And so, of course, you're angry. Of course, someone took something from you. You didn't have a chance to give away yourself when you were ready. But you have taken those pieces and you put together, what do they call it? Something for ashes. What is it called when they give you something for your ashes? You took the ashes of your life, like they say, the phoenix that goes through the fire and comes out
and rises.
Exactly. And you took those ashes and you put together a life now that you should be very proud of. You should really be proud.
Someone said there's always rainbow after the storm. I know an urn. Someone said, are you talking about an urn?
No. In the Bible it says, God will give you something for your ashes. Flowers for your ashes. He'll give you back what was the ashes of your life.
For your ashes? Is it
beauty?
Yeah, that's what someone
said. Thank you. Yes, beauty for your ashes. Yes.
I'm not going to keep you too long because I can talk to you forever.
I know. I do. So we're connected now. We are connected.
On social media, and I'll get see you're doing anything. I'll put it out there. We want to thank everyone for tuning into the Women Are Worthy Network. Please subscribe.
Yes, you guys.
Subscribe. And again, I'm going to continue to do this. You walk in this journey and showcase men and women, diverse people who are doing phenomenal things. I'm going
to follow you too, Jackie. I'll be on as well. Yes, I want to hear because I have so many, like I said, so many interviews, but I'm going to try and tune in because you are connected to source. You are definitely connected. I feel that.
Thank you.
You're an empath. Yeah, you are just like me.
So we want to thank everyone. Dawn, I wish you abundant. We're going to be connected, so I don't have to keep saying you got this. You're gonna be number one. You are number one. So everyone else is going to see it. So we want to thank everyone who's here. I want to wish you peace, blessings, and prosperity. And remember, walk in the light. If you're having a bad day, it's not a bad day, it's a bad moment. Not a bad day. You can turn it around. So peace and blessings. I had a blast, honey.
Yes, me too. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, guys. I love you guys. I can't see you, but I love you all. Thank you so much.
Bye, Dawn.
Bye, Jackie. We'll talk soon.
Okay.
Bye.